When it comes to childhood cartoon TV shows, Dino Squad was one of those shows where you liked it and watched it on a daily basis or you've never even heard of. It was not up there with Winx Club, Bratz, Strawberry Shortcake, 16, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hot Wheels, Scooby-Doo, Ben 10, Teen Titans. It was somewhere on that awkward middle, but extremely underrated or unknown part in the line. I first got into Dino Squad when it just appeared on the TV at my cousin's old place, and we just watched it and I got hooked. And then a few years later, I rediscovered it and decided to watch the episodes again. And then I realized Dino Squad is not bad, but it's not good too. It has so many flaws that I think it could have done better, and I think that it could have done better. Great potential, but it just needed more of everything. What's going on, everybody? It's your girl Yujin. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're going to be talking about a show that I genuinely liked as a child, Dino Squad, and how my thoughts kind of changed on it. You already know what you're here for, so let's get started. Dino Squad is about 5 high school students in the same science class who don't get along very well. And they obviously didn't go well together. They were arguing and just playing around, not getting the job done. Why don't we just let the theme song explain it?
On a beautiful beach not far away, I went to visit for a day, got covered with some gooey ooze that changed my DNA.
So it was kind of like TMNT. Getting an experiment into you that changes your DNA is like a common practice for superhero cartoons or superhero lore. Spider-Man, anyone? And Street Sharks? Not Street Sharks. We don't talk about Street Sharks. The characters' names are Max, Roger, Caruso, Fiona, and Buzz. Max's dinosaur is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Roger is a Triceratops. Caruso is a Stegosaurus. Fiona is a Spinosaurus. And Buzz is a pterodactyl. So with this new power, they're kind of forced to work together to save the world. But it's not always easy because every episode there is kind of like an issue or a problem that ends up being the conflict, either a subplot or the main conflict. And then there's a moral for every episode because it's a kid's show and we have to have morals to become better people when we grow up. The animation kind of reminds me of anime a little bit. I mean, when I was young, I kind of thought it was an anime. The facial expressions and the magical girl transformation sequences. The animation, it's not that bad, but there are times where the animation gets a little bit too lazy. They're captained by the science teacher, Miss Moynihan, and I absolutely love her very much. And also she has a relationship with the villain of the story, Velocity, who is a velociraptor. And honestly, I kind of like this lore where they were dinosaurs from the past, but they evolved with the human race. So they've been alive for thousands of years, 10,000s of years. They survived the huge asteroid and they evolved, but they don't even look like the same age. Velocity looks like a handsome actor model with the iconic side hairdo, while Miss Moynihan looks like a grandma or a science teacher, the average science teacher. See, I'm kidding. Like they don't even look like they're the same age, unless Velocity uses anti-aging cream or something. Velocity's goal is to basically turn back the clock and turn every evolved species back into dinosaurs. He does this with using his primordial ooze that affected the 5 teenagers and used it on like the animals. But why he wants to do that is kind of unclear. I'm guessing because all of his other relatives where we all know what happened when the asteroid hit Earth. All the dinosaurs became extinct, so maybe he just misses his family and all his friends, and this is like his vengeance thing. I wish they explained that, because I'm writing it for them. I really wish that the show explained that. The Dino Squad has to keep their superhero life a secret, of course, because if anyone finds out they're dinosaurs, we're gonna get in trouble with the government, and we don't want that, which is like the consequence or the threat of every superhero cartoon, that if a superhero reveals their identity, their cover will be blown and we'll get in trouble with the government. We know. Let's start with the positives. I love that the concept was having a group of characters who don't get along that well, who are forced to get along so they can do good. The life lessons and how the subplots are like, when someone does a bad thing, they learn to regret it. Dino Squad is kind of like the Dhar Man of the 2000s and the early 2010s. So you see, if you cheat, you'll never get ahead. Oh gosh. Now onto the negatives. There are times where the episode goes very slow, and sometimes I want to fall asleep to it because it's going pretty slow, and they only resolve the episode until the very end, and I'm like, why don't you just resolve it earlier and give us another? I mean, pacing has always been like an issue, because like we need cheap comedy or tactics to pad the runtime, but also the missions, some of them just go on for so long that if I watched it on a TV, that I'd probably look at my phone instead of being interested in what the kind of method they're gonna do to defeat the bad guys. So yeah, pacing is kind of an issue. Also, some episode concepts are repeats, meaning that they talk about the same thing over and over again, and they don't deliver anything new or fresh. It's just the same thing over and over again. And I'll get to one of the reasons in a minute. Another reason is that they kind of forgot about what exactly is the friends who don't get along have to work together to save the world. Kind of, because when they become the Dino Squad, they're automatically, suddenly very close. And then I'm like, y'all just met. Y'all don't know, y'all don't know each other that well, and you're suddenly calling yourselves best friends for life. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how best friend groups work, especially if you're all just strangers. And I feel like that affects most of the repetitive subplots, and the main characters, they have, it's not that they're unlikable, but they just have really unique traits that make them seem unlikable. I would have loved it if the Dino Squad were not only kids that don't get along, but they were also bad people. Maybe you could have them bully other students or be ex-felons. I think that would have definitely add up the stakes. But it also has to be a kid's show, so I would just stick to them being bad people. Sticking to bad habits like picking on other people, or stealing things from stores, or taking candy from a baby. Time to talk about the characters. We're gonna start with Buzz. So Buzz, he resembles the edgy looking one, the one who looks like he got into fights, but he's actually a softie. He's cute and likes cute things. He has a snake named Winifred, but she's actually a very nice snake, just like he's a very nice person. And honestly, his cuteness kind of makes me want to root for him. It makes me root for him when he's completing a mission or going against the bad guy. Roger is the smart one, the nerd, the one who's good with all the computers and all the fancy schmancy technological gadget thingies. There's nothing really much about him. He likes to play pranks. I'm still thinking about that prank episode. Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes from the show. I guess because the writers didn't bother to give him some subplots that would have to make him a bad person. But then I have to wonder, and this is just a theory, I'm not saying that this actually happened, but maybe they didn't want to give him bad subplots or give him a conflict that makes him look like a bad person because he's the only black guy in the team. So I think they thought that if they gave him plots like that, then it would leave a bad taste in the viewers' mouths. So I don't think the writers' room wanted to deal with those consequences. I mean, props to them, because if it was that original plan, I'm glad they didn't go with it. I'll say this though, Roger is the most unproblematic character. Like, he has dodged so many bullets to still remain perfect. Everyone else got problems, but Roger, and even Buzz too, they remain perfect. They're perfect. Okay. Time to roast Maxwell. So Maxwell is the self-proclaimed leader, or the canon-proclaimed leader, because his dinosaur is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex is the king of the dinosaurs, so I guess that automatically means he's leader. Maxwell, he's annoying. He's the most childish. He tries way too hard to seem perfect, and all of his negative traits sadly overshadow his positive ones. Maxwell is the one who usually gives the life lessons or the morals, but also he can be a little bitch. Or when someone else is being a little bitch, he'll be a little bitch back. That's just him being childish. And in my headcanon, Max is Christian coded. He's one of those Christians. And I'm gonna say this now, I went to Sunday school when I was a kid, so I'm allowed to say these things. He has all the traits of one of those Christians. Always teaching life lessons, but also all the gaslighting and the childish antics, and just him being a straight up bitch when he doesn't get his way. Maxwell's dream outside the Dino Squad is to be a quarterback. But why does he want to be a quarterback? That's another flaw, because compared to everyone else, Max doesn't have a full character. And I don't want to hear things like, but you said that he had all of these traits and his negatives outlook is positives. No, having a lot of traits doesn't make that a character. Because having a character means having goals and having a whole arc. He's just there for life lessons and to cause conflict that no one actually likes. To wonder, has he ever been in any school fights? And then we have Fiona, who is a cardboard cutout of how female characters are written today for modern audiences. Because Fiona's the only girl, the writers really had to deliver. What we know is that Fiona, she does a lot of sports. She's on her school swim team, kind of tomboy. Fiona is kind of stuck up, bitchy, and I think the logic is supposed to radiate off of her. I'm not like the other girls. I mean, there are no other girls. There are no girls in Dino Squad, except Miss Moynihan, but Miss Moynihan is a different story. She's mature. She's a mature, grown woman. Elderly woman. Well, there's nothing really much to say about her, but a modern day girl boss feminist. She used to be my favorite character, but mostly because she was the only girl in a mostly boys team. So I really thought that because she was a girl, she would kind of take advantage of her maturity to discipline or calm the boys down when they were acting wild. I see no sign of maturity. She's pretty much like the others. She's childish and oblivious. And it doesn't help the fact that Fiona's the only female in the team. So I'm sorry, Fiona, but you're giving female heroes a bad name. And then there's Caruso. Oh my fucking gosh. I don't even know who the fuck he's supposed to be. The writers keep switching him between hero to an anti-hero to an antagonist. Like, they're just throwing him around like a ball in a categories game. Who is Caruso? What is Caruso's character? I mean, he has goals. He wants to have a job in the entertainment industry. I mean, having a job in the entertainment industry and being a superhero has a lot of cost. You really have to work on keeping your identity hidden from the public. But I'm pretty sure that there are some people who are really good at doing that, who are extremely secretive and just naturally good at hiding their identities. You know, that could have worked if the writers actually cared about Caruso and if they treated Caruso like a character and not just plot drama. Like, what exactly is Caruso's character? Is he a hero, anti-hero, antagonist? Is he a victim? Is he misunderstood? Who is Caruso? Who the fuck is Caruso? As much as I hate his narcissistic attitude and his ego and his negative traits overshadow his positives like Maxwell, despite all this, Caruso deserved better. He's annoying, but at the same time, I feel bad. I feel bad that the writers, they either tried too hard or they didn't even try at all. Caruso kind of deserved more. Dino Squad only had one season, and I honestly think that having only one season, it is understandable because of the flaws, like the slow pacing and unlikable characters, and also the reviews on IMDb. Overall, I think Dino Squad had so much potential, but it still had its flaws, and I think it could have been better if the writers actually put an effort. Like, Dino Squad can be saved, but in other cases, it's so bad it's good. But I'll let you decide. Do y'all like Dino Squad? Did you watch it when you were a kid? Let me know in the comments below. And I think that's all I have for today. So, this is your girl, Yujin, signing off. Peace.